Aleo mining profits are about to change dramatically, but not in the way you might think. Today, I'm going to break down exactly how all of these new miners that are about to be released will impact the network and your profits. I'm going to break it all down for you so you can make a more informed decision as to whether this is something that you want to get yourself into. Let's get into it. So let's start off and talk about the price. So where are we right now? Well, one Aleo is sitting at just over 26 cents USD. So in the last 24 hours, you can see we've had a nice little run up from 23 cents all the way up to the 25, 26 mark. And that's even sort of been reflected on the 7-day. We can see we were right down at about 20 cents, but as is often the case when there's new miners being released, the price seems to pump. It's funny how that happens. Every time they're announced, the price seems to go up. So, looking at where we are at the moment, you might say, okay, we're in a similar position to we were a month ago. But as we say in crypto, whenever people show charts, we like to say zoom out. So back in February, sitting at around 48 cents. So more than double the current price. And if we go to the 1 year mark, we can see exactly when Aleo became mineable. I believe this is when it happened, September 30. Now, to my knowledge, Aleo has been around for quite some time, but we all started getting wind of it at around the end of last year. So all the way up at $6.50, and we can see them burn all the way down like they tend to do in the crypto space. All the way from $6.50, $4, just day by day, losing, 20, 30 cents worth of profitability to where we are now, the start of 2025. Now we started just under, 85 cents, so under $1, and we've continued to decline from there. So these nice little kick ups that you see on the sort of 7-day always look good, but remember, zoom out, as they say. So at the moment, Aleo, it's currently, I guess it's technically trending upwards, but over the long term, definitely moving south, it seems. Now, along with the price, we're going to need to have a look at the hash rate, because both of these metrics are going to be very important when we get to the end, look at our spreadsheet and figure out where the profitability of these miners is going. So once again, the end of last year, sitting reasonably high, we sort of peaked at about 767. Now, I'm not sure if there's more data on this, but this is what we've got as far as hash rate continues. And as we see, it goes down and down and down, of course, until the first batch of Aleo miners were announced and started coming online right around February, I believe it was. And we've seen this slow spike upwards all the way from around 225 gigaproofs, which is the mechanism they use. It's like hash rate, gigahash sort of thing. And just the slow burn gradually up. But as more and more of these miners got released, the Goldshell unit specifically, we saw, in the space of, a month or so, all the way up from, where are we? What's today? The 25th, 315. Up to 500, and on other charts like on mining pool stats, it's got this at about 580 or 600. So hard to tell where it is. What we do know is that the hash rate has already doubled the last month, so that's not a good sign so far as yield, which is going to also affect our profitability. So let's have a look at some of the miners, some of them online already and some of them soon to be coming online. We'll start firstly with what's already online and what has, started this little spike in hash rate that we were just looking at. Well, we've got the AE box, the original AE box 1 and the AE box Pro. Now these are using around 30 to 40 mega hash respectively. So that's definitely going to have started the kick up, but soon to come online, the AE box 2, which I believe is 54 mega hash, and the E1M also from Goldshell, which is around 200 mega hash. So you can see these are just getting exponentially larger and more powerful. So expect this to have a nice little impact on the hash rate. There is also another Goldshell ASIC coming online, the AE Max, is even bigger again, 360 mega hash. So you can see with these sort of products from Goldshell, the hash rate is coming online and it's going to be even bigger than before very, very shortly. Along with the Goldshell units, we have the Ice River Aleo, the AE0. So this is 60 mega hash again coming online. It says the date is the 20th to the 15th. So I wouldn't imagine many of these have turned on yet, maybe a few, but we have 60 mega hash incoming from Ice River. Who knows how many of these have been made. And then the bigger boy again, the AE1 Lite, 300 mega hash. So we have, 6 or 7 different units here, ranging anywhere from 50 to 300 mega hash. So this is not something to turn your nose up at. This is going to have a huge impact on the hash rate and the overall price. And speaking of price, we have a look at the profitability right now for Aleo. This is at 10 cents USD. So if you want to check your numbers, you can come here and enter your own electric rate in. But with some of these miners, like the 100 watt units, the 500 watt units, the electric rate is not going to put a big dent in this profitability. So looking really nice at the moment. $50 a day. 47 bucks a day on the Ice River unit, again $32 a day on the other Goldshell unit. Even this little $800 unit is promising $9.44 a day. So that's like a 3-month ROI if prices were to stay at this point. But I feel like we've been down this road before. So let's check out Kaspa and see how it's going and how it went. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, I was one of the people who bought a number of these KS5Ms way back here in the middle of last year when the profits were sitting at around, $100 a day. So that was pretty hard to turn away, but the price tag was hefty. I think I paid about $7,000 for these units. Way too much. Hindsight is 2020. Remember that, guys. And as we can see, we came down to $75, and then, oh look, little spike up back to 100. We thought, yep, things are going to be great. And ever since then, here we are a year later, we've hit the red. These have been losing money now for the last couple of months. Sad times. And this rollout with Ice River, with Aleo, is giving me, similar vibes to Kaspa. Now, it may be different, it may not, but when you have these powerful units coming online, it's really hard for the network hash rate to keep up and keep that profitability as high as we're seeing here. But of course, coin price can go up. Maybe a bunch of people don't sell. So let's crunch some numbers and move on over to the spreadsheet and run through a few different scenarios and see what you could expect when that hash rate moves and when and if the price moves. All right, so let's crunch some numbers. I've put together a very simple spreadsheet here for you guys to use. This is going to equate the coin price and the network hash rate and give you an overall profitability, so you can sort of determine where you think this might go hash rate wise, coin price wise, and how it will affect your profitability. So on the left here, we have 4 of the bigger miners, the 2 Ice River units and the 2 Goldshell units, their hash rate and their current profitability at 10 cents USD, which we just looked at. Over here on the right, we've got the actual profitability, and this will change depending on the network hash rate or the coin price. So for reference, with the network hash rate at around 500 to 600 gigaproofs, that's the equivalent of 2,000 of these Ice River AE0s, or around the same for the AE Max. So let's just say if 2,000 of these come online, the network hash rate doubles. Straight away, obviously, our profitability drops in half if the coin price stays the same. I'm predicting a lot more of these will come online than 2,000, overall. So I'm assuming, let's say we get a 3x. Then again, the AE1, the $2,500 unit, down to $15.67 a day. The EA1M down to $10.73, and the AE Max down to 16. Let's say we get a 4x. You can see how it goes here, so on and so forth. But let's take a more conservative approach. Let's say that the network hash rate triples, and you're someone who believes in the price potential of Aleo. So we know that the previous all-time high was, $6.70, something like that. I personally don't think we're ever getting back there. And if you're basing your prices or your future ROI on $6.70, you might need to rethink that calculation. But, let's say a 3x on the network hash rate and we get back up to $1 with Aleo, then even with that hash rate change, you're still up. You're still going to be able to ROI these miners. But if nothing happens, even at a 2x, you're going to be losing profitability. Let's say a really bad worst case scenario, we get a 5x on the hash rate and the price doesn't move down to $1.88. And for the AE1, $9.41. So you can see how volatile that, all of these miners hitting the network hash rate can be. It can make a huge impact. So I'm going to leave this spreadsheet linked down in the description for you to grab so you can crunch your own numbers in, do some research, see where you think the network hash rate will go, see where you think the price point will go, and you can make a decision from there. I won't spend too much time on this. You can check it out yourself, but definitely expect this hash rate to at least hit a 3x, I would say, within the next month or so. It can happen really quickly. If 2,000 of each of these units changed, you can see things could get scary. But, good case scenario, a 3x, the coin goes up to $2. You're making $26 a day on the AE0. Let's imagine if it went to $6.70 again. You'd be making, just under, $437 on the AE1, $300 on the EA1M, $464 on the AE Max. So it could be an ROI dream, but don't expect that to happen anytime soon. A more conservative approach, should be if you said it gets up to 50 cents, with a 3 or 4x hash rate, is still in the profit. So that is gonna wrap it up, guys. Wanted to keep it pretty brief for you, just give you the facts, talked about the coin price, the hash rate, and how that might affect the outcome if you were to purchase one of these. Now, let me know down in the comments how many of these units, whatever unit it might be, the Ice River units, the Goldshell units, or a total combined hash rate increase. I'm predicting within the next month at least a 3x. Those are my predictions, but of course, it could be more, it could be less. That coin price could move. Whoever knows with things like this, right? Even with great utility like Aleo, the price might not move or it might moon. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, guys. Make sure you download the spreadsheet if you want to use it. It's free, of course, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Attention crypto miners, are you ready to level up your mining game? Then look no further than CryptoMinerBros.com, your go-to source for top-of-the-line mining equipment. Crypto Miner Bros stock the latest ASIC miners and partner with the most trusted brands like Bitmain, Goldshell, Jazzminer, and Ice River, just to name a few. Plus, with manufacturers' warranties of 6 to 12 months, worldwide shipping, and 24/7 customer support, you're fully covered no matter where you are. And don't forget, you can use code BEARMINER at checkout or click the link in description to save $70 on all products store-wide. Visit CryptoMinerBros.com today and start mining smarter.